everyone, to episode 2 of the Sports Horn. Fellow Facebook Sports Horners, we welcome you. Thanks for enjoying the first show. Hope you enjoy this one as well. And we're going to get right into it. You know why? Because today was a huge day in sports. This weekend, one of my favorite weekends in all of sports. Thanksgiving holiday, you've got food, possibly alcoholic beverages, depending on where you are.
Always alcoholic beverages.
And football.
Oh my God.
And I'll take that any day.
Absolutely.
As will my girlfriend. Anyway, as we jump into this, we had a big football game this morning out at Arrowhead Stadium. Kansas and Missouri for all the marbles, baby.
Oh my God. And let me tell you, speaking of Kansas and Missouri,
what is that?
Did I say more? Okay, anyway. But no, guys, the football game today, first quarter action. Let me tell you what. Unfortunately, for me, I had a Thanksgiving dinner that I had to attend and miss a quarter of the game, which was devastating in my eyes. But I got to see the first 2 touchdowns. I got to see TJ Moe extend, and we went up 14-0 quick on them.
And really never looked back.
Never looked back. Let's be honest. When they came out in those white uniforms, I thought it was a signal of, need I say more, a signal of submission right off the bat. So
Turner Gill seems to be very good at that.
Absolutely. With it, wearing the Jayhawk on the back of the jerseys instead of the name, need I say more?
I think Missouri came out in this game ready to play. And it goes beyond, for me, more than just this game, because everybody knew Missouri was going to win, barring some sort of miracle effort from the Kansas Jayhawks. This goes back to 2007 for me. Kansas, you made a deal with the devil in 2007 for your Orange Bowl, and I hope you enjoyed it. I really do. Because now here you are sitting at 3-9, one of the worst teams in the Big 12, arguably the worst. In 2007, you bribed your way into the Orange Bowl. You thought you had a trump card over Missouri who beat you head-to-head. And you know what? Here we are 3 years later, and Kansas is a joke.
A joke.
It's been basketball season since August in Lawrence. You came into Arrowhead today. You brought your red and your crimson and blue line. And you know what? You got it's shoved down your throats. And I hope you're happy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm happy.
Oh, I'm more than happy, obviously.
Diatribe on the Kansas Jayhawks there.
Right.
You know how I feel.
Exactly. And you know what? I've got a little bit to add to that because in 2007, whenever Chase Daniels was taking the Missouri Tigers to a new level in college football, more so than we had been in years. Okay, we got to down to we go into the Big 12 championship game. And we lose to Oklahoma for the second time. That's the only team we lost to all year. Great Oklahoma football team. I give them all the props in the world, as I always have. But to send Kansas to that Orange Bowl over us was an absolute just kick in the ass. There's no other way to say it than that. And devastating to every MU fan out there. And the ironic fact to that this year is we could be that team that jumps over the Huskers.
There's a lot going on.
Small chance of it, but we could be that team that jumps over the Huskers. And let me tell you what, if we do, we deserve it, and I don't care what anybody else says about it, because that year, for all Missouri fans, was the biggest disappointment. After the biggest high, we went to the biggest low. And Clint and I have talked about it many a time.
It was a devastating turn of events in 2007 after Missouri had the magical year. This year, very satisfying, Chris. At this time, I'd kind of like to look back, at the season. Missouri goes 10-2. Only the 4th time in school history Missouri records 10 victories in football, and just kind of look back at some of the memories and some of the moments that stood out to you. And I think we have to start the game that we were at together, sitting on field level, Missouri and Oklahoma, which was a big win for the Tigers.
People, I can't say enough about this game. Clint and I were actually on the fence about going to the game. Not that we didn't want to be there, but we waited, and then we found out they were opening up the field bleacher seats, and we knew right then that was our chance to go to the game. So we got immediately after tickets. We got the tickets. We got there hours before the game. We experienced the Tiger Walk, which was one of the greatest moments of my life because I had seen it a lot, but I had never experienced it. And experiencing that and seeing the look in Blaine Gabbert's eyes, Gary Pinkel, Dave Steckel, when they were walking the Tiger Walk that day, they had that look in their eyes that they were going to win this time. And they weren't going to just do it for themselves. They were doing it for Gary Pinkel. And the greatest thing about it, once we got down to the field level and after they got everybody seated on those bleachers, which was an absolute debacle, by the way, but I'll leave that one alone, we got to experience something neither one of us had ever got to experience, which was the Oklahoma Sooners literally an arm's length away as they're warming up. and just the absolute. The fans were going absolutely crazy.
The atmosphere was something like I've never seen.
Never experienced it.
And we needed that win, and we got that win, and we were on the field. Chris and I were probably, as the game was still going on at the end. and that game stands out to me. But also, one that a lot of people don't bring up anymore was the win over San Diego State, which almost didn't happen. T.J. Moe hauls in a 68-yard touchdown as time's almost expiring.
Wow.
Or else this conversation isn't taking place, and we're looking at another so-so season for Missouri.
Absolutely, and you probably an 8 to 9 win season as opposed to a 10-win season. And the thing about that game, as I watched it, and I'm talking about the San Diego State game, as I watched that game go along, I thought, I know we're a better football team than this. And when T.J. Moe caught that, I thought, thank God, because now we have the opportunity, because all they care about in the rankings and in the BCS is your record. That's all that matters, is wins and losses. I knew we were a better football team than that, and when T.J. Moe caught that touchdown pass and we had the Moe Miracle, that was a kickstart to the rest of the season. So that was definitely a key part to the season by far.
We've shut out 2 conference opponents in Colorado and Iowa State. That's very rarely done in the Big 12.
First time in a long time.
Absolutely. Overall, I'd say a very nice season for Missouri. We had the hiccup at Texas Tech and the debacle at Nebraska, but 10 wins. When your rival Kansas, who thought that they were on the level as you 3 years ago, teams couldn't be going in more opposite directions. Very happy about that. Chris, I wanted to ask you this. As we go into bowl season now, a lot going on. We have Boise State losing a key game to Nevada, which is a very emotional game. What is going to happen to Missouri as far as this bowl situation goes? Are they going to get passed over? What is your ideal scenario for Missouri, aside from the BCS, which seems to be an outside shot?
I think the BCS is an outside shot, as much as I hate to say that as a Missouri fan. Now I'm always an optimist, and I would tell you that I would love to go to a BCS game, considering from the looks of things, Connecticut's going to slide into a BCS game. And we're talking about, what, an 8-4 team?
Yeah, an unranked 8-4 team.
An unranked 8-4 team sliding in over a 10-2. Now, I realize there's a lot of other teams that have only lost 2 games, but if you look at the Tigers' record, if we had beaten Texas Tech, and I know there's woulda, coulda, shouldas, if we beat Texas Tech, we're playing in the Big 12 title game right now, in my eyes, for a legit shot at a BCS game. Now, looking outside of that, I don't see how we can get passed over for a Cotton Bowl bid. And the reason I say that is the last time we played in the Cotton Bowl, there may have been some doubts, but there was no doubt about it that we should have been at a BCS game that year. We didn't get in it. They put us in the Cotton Bowl, and once those tickets went up for sale,
they were gone.
Gone.
They were gone in 30 minutes.
30 minutes. 30 minutes, folks.
That's about Arkansas.
Exactly. And I had relatives that went to the game. I'm sure you did
Absolutely.
as well. And look at how they did and how we responded in a big game situation like the Cotton Bowl. So to me, matching up a Missouri team with an Alabama Crimson Tide team or possibly another SEC big-time team in the Cotton Bowl, I think we deserve that shot, Clint. What do you think?
I absolutely agree. I think the Cotton Bowl is probably the pinnacle of what Missouri can hope for this season, and I think they've earned it. They've defeated Oklahoma and Texas A&M head-to-head. They have the nation's 7th toughest schedule. And I think the Cotton Bowl, which is going to be a BCS Bowl someday anyway, they need to have this reward to go down there and play a good SEC team at Arkansas and LSU and Alabama. That's really what I hope to see for this. Overall, though, good season for the Tigers.
Absolutely.
Very happy with the 10-2.
10 wins, baby.
Happy with the win today. A lot going on. Guys, let's turn our tables really quick here to the National Football League. Week 12 kicks off. Actually did kick off on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Which was nice. Couple blowouts, couple good games.
Yeah, I mean, a good lineup of games, really. You had a lot of close games there.
It was very nice. And now we look to the Sunday edition of Week 12, specifically the Chiefs needing a very key win on the road at Seattle. A tough place to play.
Huge.
I know this because I went to a Seattle Mariners game one time and looked across, saw Quest Field, wished I was actually there instead of the baseball game. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
What do you think about Chiefs at Seahawks Week 12?
Chiefs at Seahawks Week 12. My only worry, let me get to that first. My only worry, Brandon Flowers out.
Do I need to play corner?
Could we get him in the game? Because I'll be honest, he's got the size and attributes to get in there.
Because
you know what, you look at it in the Chiefs' helmet.
I'm very worried about Brandon Flowers not playing in this game.
My God, am I ever? Because let me tell you, our options at corner are very limited, and I think we saw what happened in the Denver game, folks. I mean, we had Ricky Price back there just absolutely getting annihilated. You know, whenever John McGraw was hurt and we had Kendrick Lewis hurt, those guys were out, and look what happened. So
that's what's
it's
scary.
a little scary in that aspect. Other than that, I think this team is right where we want to be. Matt Castle is playing better than he's ever played at quarterback for the Kansas City
That's
Chiefs.
the key right now.
And it is. And I'll tell you, the thing about that, Matt Castle, if we are able to run the ball, if we're able to dominate up front, as we should be able to, I think we have a good chance in this game. But you can't let the 12th man of the Seattle Seahawks take you over. I mean, how do you feel about it?
You let them stay in the game. You get a turnout. You know, Castle throws a pick. You play stupid from the get-go. You're going to lose this game in Seattle. The Kansas City Chiefs, like you said, Chris, need to come in and control tempo. They need to run the ball. You've got to have the 1-2 punch of Charles and Jones, and it's got to be working to perfection to open up the passing game. Kansas City needs this game badly because we're looking at a home stretch in the AFC West with San Diego making the run like they always do. They play the Indianapolis Colts tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you this. The Indianapolis Colts are going to win that game.
They are going to win that
and
game.
They need to.
They do. I think we all agree that Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts are an underachieving team so far. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl last year, folks, and Indianapolis, we saw how they played the Chiefs, and even then they were underachieving when they played the Chiefs and still got the win. I think they're getting a little healthier now. I think Peyton Manning is getting into playoff mode. He's getting into that mode. We're after the bye week. We've got to do something now as opposed to later. I think the Colts beat the Chargers. Now, if we're talking about the Raider game and we're talking about Raiders and Dolphins, that's a huge game for the Chiefs as well because we would love to see the Raiders lose a game and the Chiefs get a win to drop them back farther in the AFC West. The thing that scares me about that game is the Dolphins are weak at quarterback right now.
Very sketchy right now.
An absolute debacle at quarterback right now with Chad Pennington being down, Chad Henne kind of questionable right now. I mean, what do you think about that? What do you think about what we're looking at?
Well, they're looking at Tyler Thigpen starting this game, who's had some success in Kansas City. But right now, I don't know. They go into Oakland, who's 4-1 at home. They play well at home. They can run the ball. I think Miami is going to be in for a struggle. I think it's going to be maybe the key matchup of Week 12. But a loss by the Chargers and a loss by the Raiders and the Chiefs with a win can really set themselves up down the stretch of only having to win probably just their home games to go ahead and secure that playoff spot. But it's very key to finish strong for the Chiefs because they have to go on the road also to the Rams in 2 weeks. Got Denver coming back in. Then you, of course, got a lot of big games coming up. And that's the truth of it is, when we film this show, we want to hear from you guys. The more people we get on the page, the more people who watch these videos, whether you like it or not, we want to hear from you.
We do. We want your opinions.
That's
why we're doing this, folks. It's not about we're doing this for any other reason than the fact we love to do it and we love to get feedback and we like to know what people think. I mean, I think that's why we do this, right?
I absolutely agree, and I think until then, our next week's episode, we need to maybe finish off the rest of this natural light that's here in front of us.
Absolutely. There's really only one more thing that I would like to comment on, and that's the fact that if the Tigers do get into the Cotton Bowl, I myself am insulted by the fact of what happened last season. And I know I went back to Missouri here, but here's my thing. Last season, we should have been in the Inside.com Bowl. Do you agree?
I think that's how it should have broken down with 6-6 Iowa State getting the nod over us. It was.
They sent them there and they said they travel better than the Missouri Tiger fans.
Which is
I don't agree. I don't agree with that at all. So we go to the Cotton Bowl. Guess what? I'm getting tickets immediately.
Yeah.
And I think I speak for a lot of Tiger fans to say, guess what? We can travel.
Who wants to go to Dallas on New Year's Day?
Absolutely.
Anybody coming with?
I'm coming. I'm going. Guys, that stadium that we would be going to is the biggest stadium in the National Football League. It is one of the most expensive stadiums ever built because they've moved it to the brand new stadium in Arlington, Texas, the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Okay? Who doesn't want to go there? Not only do I want to go because of that reason, I want to go to prove that Tiger fans travel. That way the year that we have a shot at a BCS game, they can't say, oh, Tiger fans don't travel, Clint.
That's a very good point. I'm tired of hearing it just like you are. And let's gear towards that and let's pound the horn. I want to see us in the Cotton Bowl just as bad as you do. I'm sure our significant others would love a trip to Dallas in 2 years.
Absolutely.
It sounds like fun.
Oh man.
Hey, we'll see you guys out there. Until next time,
Absolutely.
here on the Sports Horn, Clint and Chris. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving.